Hi, I just got out of the hospital yesterday after spending a week in the ICU, and one day I had transitioned into a normal hospital room before they let me go. So I can talk firsthand about everything that's happening, especially with United Healthcare, and why no one is really mourning the unaliving of the CEO. As a person who was plunged into the chronic illness, rare disease world 3.5 years ago, I cannot even begin to tell you the absolute hellscape that insurance companies put people like me, people who have rare diseases, chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases, because it takes some very expensive specialty medication to keep us alive. Now, for me, you see my face is very swollen. I have an exceptionally swollen tongue. It's very wide right now. And that was why I was in the ICU, because my tongue was so big, they were worried they were going to have to intubate me. So I had basically about $150,000 hospital stay this past week, which really stinks this close around Christmas time. It's the gift that just keeps giving. But the reason why they make it so impossible is because we are a burden on their system. They only want profits. They want healthy people. They want people that are only going to go to the doctor a couple of times a year. They want people that are going to pay these ridiculous premiums every month just to get almost no benefit out of their insurance. Our premium for our family of three, every paycheck, my husband gets paid twice a month. So for the three of us to have insurance, it is over $600 a month. Here's the catch. We see nothing from that $600 a month because the first deductible that is an individual deductible for each one of us is $4,000. They will not pay on prescriptions. They will not pay on doctor visits. They will not pay on anything until you reach that $4,000 deductible. Then it's $7,525. When you meet a $6,850 deductible, then they will pay 100%. It's infuriating. The plan that does allow them to pay for stuff immediately is $900 a month. For our family of three, it would be $900 a month for us to actually get a insurance plan that would benefit us, which would mean they immediately would pay the $75.25 for prescriptions, and all doctor visits would have, I believe it's a $50 copay. $900 a month just to have that. But you still have that $4,000 deductible, and you still have, that's the first one, and then you have the second one, it's the $6,850 deductible. This is why people are not mourning the unaliving of this CEO, because it has been turned into a for-profit only organization that we see little to no benefit from. And then when we truly need it, like I do now, after 3.5 years of fighting these rare diseases with exceptionally rare, expensive medication that gets denied like crazy. And thankfully I have a doctor that will fight those denials, but so many people don't. Stress makes our conditions worse. Stress makes our chronic fatigue, and I'm talking the fatigue that's so bad that you can barely get out of bed to go to the bathroom. And it's a system that has been put into place to make it as difficult as possible for physicians to gain approval for these medications, simply because they want the physicians to be so frustrated, so annoyed that they will give up the fight. It generally takes 2 months or more of my doctor filling out the first submission, then 3 appeals, then she has to force for a peer-to-peer where she can actually talk to somebody on the phone. it's ridiculous, because in their world, it is more profitable and it is more beneficial to them for people like me and others who have rare diseases, autoimmune diseases, chronic illnesses, cancer, any type of long-term illness that is going to cost them money. It is more profitable for them for us to just die. They do not care. They do not care at all what happens to us. There is no compassion. We are simply a burden to their system. We are a burden to their profits. It takes $2.5 million to $3 million a year in specialty medication to keep me looking this glorious. To keep me out of the ICU, which would probably be monthly. I hadn't had a big ICU stay like that in over 2 years because I was on my drug regimen. But extreme stress, which I had a lot of over the past 2 weeks, can cause these horrific flares. So that's what happened. I had a lot of stress. I had a really horrible family situation that had a death in the family. And for 2 weeks I was under exorbitant amounts of stress. And sure enough, super acute flare landed me in the hospital with them treating me with IV medication 24/7 for 6 days. And on the 7th day, they started to transition me off a little bit just to make sure that I wasn't going to re-flare and my, tongue wasn't going to assassinate me. Because it grows 2 to 3 times its normal size. But that is why no one cares that this man has been unalived. And if anything, that is why people are celebrating it, because we're angry. We're sick and we're tired of needing medication and being treated like scum of the earth just because we got ill. That's why. And I feel that. I feel that because after 2.5, 3 years of dealing with this, it is honestly the most stressful, awful situation to deal with. Insurance should not be this way. It is supposed to be there to help us when we need it. It is not supposed to be this insurmountable mountain that our doctors have to fight just to try to get us medication that helps keep us alive.